Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do this an official way. My name is Chuck Daughtrey. I am the owner of coppercoins.com. This is July 29th on a Thursday, working on a new roll, number 288. Coin roll hunt number 288, and this is a 1954S original machine wrapped roll. It's in the dark red-pink wrapper. Has no bank information on it, so it's going to be called an original wrapped roll, machine wrapped roll. Hey Malcolm, looks like I've got a coin junkie in the house. Actually, I have no one else in the house right now. Let me get my, so I have 3 viewers in here right now. Let me go ahead and shut down my other window here. Get it out of my way. To get it out of my way. There we go. There is Coin Junkie. Got Brendan Lewenag. We've got Archaeology Mikey. And we have our 1954S roll. This one I did not call the... I did not call this the feature roll of the week because there's actually some better chance that you could get something out of the 54Ds than the 54S. The 54S is still nice. There's a number of RPMs. There's a really nice double die obverse for 1954S, but you had to pick one as a feature, and I picked the 54D as the feature of the week. That's going to come up tomorrow. We've got 3 reveals coming up tomorrow, one of which being that 1954D roll. Other 2 is a 55S and a 1959 Philadelphia. 59 Philadelphia's got some real masterful double dies in there. And they're not the easiest to come by, but that's because a lot of people don't search for them. And, of course, they don't find them if you don't search for them. And I am a believer in searching rolls of years that are not highly productive simply because, well, not very many people search those. So I go after the stuff that you can or may not see on a regular basis. Hey, Coin Hunter. All right, here we are. 1954S. Roll number 288. That's a nice looking roll. All right, let me go ahead and get in on this. I got the big scope out, and it's ready to go. So coin number 1, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall will get coin number 1, new Marshall in town. And let's see what we have here. Yeah, we have sort of kind of a worn die coin here, but I believe this is an RPM. This does look like an RPM. You can see a split at the upper serif. Right up there at the very upper right corner of the letter. Right there as you see it on the mint mark. There is a split up there. That is a minor split serif repunch mint mark. So I'm going to back out on this just a little bit again. This is a late die state coin, which is why it looks a little mushy in areas. Get this refocused. And so that is going to work as a minor repunch mint mark. We will take a look at it later to see if it's something that we can list. But the way we're going to remember this particular die, I believe, is going to be that die crack on the 9 of the date. But we're going to need something else to show us for sure. There is a die crack running across the forehead. I kind of like that too, but those are both relatively common. We have a die crack between the E and the R of Liberty. So with those 3 things together, I think we're pretty safe to say that we know what this die looks like. There's also a die dot on the throat. You can see it right there, right around mid-throat right there. That's a die dot. That'll show up on all the other coins minted from this die from this point forward. So we'll go ahead and throw that into a holder for Mr. Marshall. And that's going to be coin number 1. Now coin number 2... Sissy. Coin number 2 to Sissy. What do we get from coin number 2? course, I'm not expecting something out of every coin in this roll, but it would be really nice if we got it, right? Alright, Sissy gets a normal coin by appearance on the obverse. It is a nice looking coin, has a nice crack running across behind the lapel from the buttonhole back to the shoulder. But I don't see anything else of concern on the obverse of this coin. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Reverses are not known to have double dies for 1954S. A little bit of a lamb peel going on there. It's a lamination issue. And we have no hub doubling. So that's a normal coin, number 2 there for Sissy. And now I bring up coin number 3. Coin number 3 is going to go to Robert Pintoff. And what does Robert get? Well, see, that's another 54S, and this one has a die break on the 9. It also has a little cracked die break below the vest. I do not believe this is the same die as the one we were looking at earlier. And it's definitely not the same die. This one is a by error. This one has a filling between the B and the E of Liberty. And collectors call that by, B-I-E, just because of, well, what it looks like. Looks like a B-I-E, right? Throw a little bit more exposure in this so we can see it a little bit better. There you go. Now, how cool is that? BIEs generally sell for anywhere between $5 and $15 a piece for uncirculated examples, especially from the San Francisco mint issues. There we go. The sausage pie. This one's almost a B-I-E-I-R. It's almost got a break between the E and the R as well. Okay, so that is that one. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Spin it around just a little bit and see what went on with the reverse. I don't think anything, but we're going to check anyway, just to see. And no, there is nothing here on the reverse. But Robert gets himself, just sold one for 6. There you go. Robert gets himself a nice buy. Coin number 4 in the roll, Yeoman. Yeoman gets number 4. Number 4 looks just like this right here. And that is not an RPM at all. It is also not a double die. Little bit of machine doubling on the outside edge of Liberty. That's about it there. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. I'll look at the reverse on the first 10 coins. After the first 10 coins, if we haven't seen anything on the reverse yet, we're going to stop looking at the reverses for the sake of brevity in the program. In less than 1 hour, Jessica will be starting her auction on this channel. I invite all of you to show and support the channel and bid for whatever you like there. It's got a lot of nice stuff, die varieties and things like that. Number 5 now, Mike Birchman. Mikey B. That is an RPM. That's a nice RPM right there. Let me get this thing focused in good. There you go. You can see it on the upper serif. You can see it in the upper curve. There you go. Right there. So it's split on both serifs, the upper and the lower. And let's see what we have for markers. I have to bring my exposure time back down so we don't overexpose, and we can see what we're doing here, looking for marker information on this particular die. And let's see what we have. That's an interesting bulge down there on the bottom of the lapel. That would be a marker that could be used. There's a heavy die dot between the Y and the collar. The upper Y and the collar, that's a heavy die dot there. Let's see. Don't really see much else. Yes, the 4 is a little bit weak on this, and the reason that 4 is a little bit weak is probably because of obstruction in the die. There's probably grime or dirt or some kind of crud inside the 4-digit while this was being minted. On the reverse, well, I don't see any doubling, but I do see a scrape mark made by the feeder finger between the P and the L of pluribus, and that scraped on the die. Scratch the die like that, so that is a marker. That is something that can be used to determine the origin of this particular die. So that's going to be another RPM. We're going to stick it into the pile of varieties, and then we're going to go to coin number 6. Coin number 6 will be, I almost put it under the wrong scope. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, huge die crack on there. Is it an RPM? It is an RPM. What do you know? This is a nice RPM right here. Let me put my lighting back on auto. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. I put my lighting back on auto, get my exposure back on auto so it will change by itself. I get tired of having to change it back and forth. We'll just get used to it blinking at us. Hey, we got a little bit of a hit on the inside of the S right there, but this is an RPM, and you can see it in the upper serif, I believe. I think it's an RPM. It looks like an RPM. Let me back out here and take a look around for any other markers or better information from which we can identify this coin. There. Get my lighting straightened back out a little bit. Oh, this is another one of the BIE coins. Did the last BIE have a severe scar like that on the vest? It did have the weak 4. But I think I see a bit of an RPM going on here too. Maybe it's just that hit on the upper S that makes it look like that. Hello, Hidden. Okay. We'll pull this one. This is for Lucy. Lucy will get this by error. Very nice one, actually. Deanne comes up next. Deanne. Ooh, that's a filled 9 and the whole 9 yards, huh? Well, that's got big chip in the 9. It's got a dent next to the 1. It has a part of a clash next to the 1. It has a huge die dot above the 9, or above the Y of Liberty. Right there, right above the Y of Liberty. Come on, quit. There's a markup above the S, between the 9 and the 5. I don't think this is an RPM. A little bit hard to tell because the coin is in such late die state. The die was so worn out when it struck this coin, it's really hard to see anything that's doubled. There is multiple die cracks on the right wheat. No hub doubling. Got a big die scratch there on the left. Big die cracks and die chips in the left wheat. And nothing else of merit. So it's an interesting coin, but I don't think it's actually an attributable die variety. Let's see. Coin number 8 goes to Joe. Kathy. What do we have? Looks like no double die, no RPM on the obverse. Over to the reverse. Looks like actually a very relatively clean coin. Very nice, clean looking coin. A few die scratches north and south on the reverse and a couple of die cracks in the right wheat. Other than that, I think we've got pretty much just a solid coin. And that's for Joe Cathy. Now, coin number 9. Number 9 goes back to Deanne. Back to Deanne for coin number 9. And this one does not appear to be a die variety. No doubling on the S. No doubling in God We Trust. You might think this coin's been damaged. That is not the case. This coin has an issue with the surface, where the surface started falling apart after the planchet was made. It's a lamination issue. Little bits and pieces of the planchet were falling apart. Let's see what we have on the reverse if I can find it. There we go. Yeah, see, we have a relatively similar issue going on the reverse, so this was a planchet white issue. Little bits and pieces of metal were flecking out of the planchet as it was being rolled and spun up to become a coin. This might even be underweight. Nope, 3.06 grams, not underweight. How is that for cool? I can check the weight just as we're going along here. Alright, there's Deanne's coin. And here's Bill Cresson. Bill Cresson's coin is this one. Not seeing a die variety there. Nothing in the Liberty. You see a little die scratch next to the Y, but that's not going to make for anything. This is the last coin I'll be checking the reverse on, unless there's some other good reason to check the reverse. But for double dies, I think we're just about finished, proving to ourselves there are probably no double die reverses in this roll. However, when Eric looks through this roll later, he will examine both the obverse and the reverse of all the coins, and if there are any double die reverses in there, he will definitely let me know. This one's going to be for Marshall. Mr. Marshall, as soon as my camera calms down a little bit, looks like another normal coin, unfortunately. And here we go looking that over. Nice big old die crack running along the shoulder on the coat there. Little lamination peel issue going on in the face. It's part of the planchet peeling apart. And that's that. I do glance at the reverse side of every coin as they come off the microscope to be sure that I'm not missing something big that we need to be looking at. Big errors such as huge Franken coin laminations and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to stop and go back and look at. Another 54S. Got nothing going on in the obverse on this one. Again, more lamination. We're liable to turn into a huge lamination on one of these, because it looks like most of this strip of metal was having problems with surface lamination. The coins are in beautiful condition, though. They're absolutely nice. Really nice looking coins. So I'm going to go to the next one, coin number 13. Coin number 13 will go to Deanne. And Deanne will get this coin. Does not appear to be an RPM. Looks like a little struck through under the chin. Not much, though. Nice looking coin. Very nice, very high grade coin, but no die variety. So happy enough to be able to provide nice looking 1954S Lincoln cents here. But it would be nice if we had some double dies and repunch mint marks and other niceties. Where did I go? Here I am. There's another RPM. That one's definitely an RPM. Unfortunately, it's got a little bit of ick, but it is an RPM. There's some definite markers right there. So what I'm seeing is an elongated upper serif, and I'm also seeing a split running straight down the middle of the upper curve. On the inside of the upper curve, it's basically right there. It's where I can see a split running down, and then the serif is doubled right down here. Hard to see in the shadowing I've got going on in the lighting, but it is there. So that one's a decent one for Yo Man. Yo Man gets himself a nice 1954 SRPM. And now number 15. Joe McBride, Mac McBride, will walk away with. Well, this should match that first one. Yep, crack between the ER. This I do believe is a minor RPM. We'll just have to look it up and make sure one way or to other. Now coin number 16. Malcolm. Malcolm on coin number 16. Let's see what we've got. And it looks like we don't have anything. Coin number 16 is normal. Now number 17, Carl Ignatz. Coin number 17. Well, it's a much earlier die state coin. You can see that the details are a lot sharper on this coin. However, this one does not have anything that I would call a die variety on it. Pretty coin though. It's a really nice looking coin. Now for number 18. Number 18, Paul Hampton. Let's see what Paul gets. Yeah, I'm still not seeing a die variety on this one. It's got that big die crack running across the shoulder. I think I've seen this one before. Number 19, Coin Hunter. Coin Hunter gets. I think it's one of the minor RPMs. Let's check that upper serif on the inside and see. Maybe. I'm gonna leave you with a maybe. I'm gonna let Eric see this and see what he thinks, but I think it is a maybe RPM. Means you may get it in an RPM holder and you may get it in a normal coin holder. This one would be normal. This one goes to Mike Birchman. More normal late die state. Now number 21. Mr. McBride again. Okay, there's some chance this is one of the RPMs. Some chance. We're going to have to take a better, quicker look at this later on, a little more detail. But that little nipple extending to the right from the upper serif could be part of another upper serif. So there is some chance that this could possibly be an RPM. We'll have to check into that later, really get into it in depth and find out for sure. but I'm definitely seeing that. Where was I? About right here. All right, let's keep looking. Nothing else here. I'm going to stick this in the RPM pile just in case it is. This one's going to go to Joe McBride. It's coin number 21. Let's take a look now at coin number 22. Let's see what happened with coin number 22. This one goes to Eric. Coin number 22. Well, this one's a nice RPM. This one has a nice east RPM. You can see it on the lower curve. And I think I've got this one listed. It might be 1mm5. One of the markers for this RPM, I believe, is that little die break on the inside of the upper crosslet on the 4 in the date. I don't think there's anything going on anywhere else on the coin, but it is that RPM along with that little die chip in the crosslet of the 4 of the date. Could be RPM number 8, but I can't remember. I can't place it right now. But it's definitely an RPM. You can see the split right up there in the upper part of the right curve, right where the light is shining on the S. And you can also see it in the upper serif. If you're a little bit imaginative, you can see the change in shape on the upper line of the S where it meets the field. But then this die chip in the upper part of the crosslet, I believe, is going to be the take on which die it is. But this one goes to Eric. And now 23. Coin number 23 goes to Stonecutter. That one is definitely a nice RPM. You can easily see this one. Looks like it's probably RPM 1. You think that one was a 5? Okay. I think this one's either... I think it's number 1. There's a couple of them that are kind of close to one another in appearance. There's a dot between the E and the R of Liberty. Come on. Come on. There's a die crack running across the forehead, running across the hair. That's damage to the actual coin. There's a little die crack on the 1, a little die crack on the 9. This one, does this one have a die crack on the bust? No, this one does not have a die crack on the bust, but the one that you said was number 5 has a die crack on the bust. Let's take a look at it real quick. This is Eric's coin again. Looking for a die crack on the bust. Yes, there is a die crack running across the bust right there. There's another die crack down here over VDB. There's actually 3 total die cracks on the lower bust area. This is Eric's coin number 22, which is definitely an RPM. Now this one here for Stonecutter is definitely an RPM as well. It's a nice one. So I'm going to get this one in the holder for Stonecutter and put it in the pile of RPMs and keep moving. Coin number 24. Coin number 24 goes to Jim Fletcher. Hopefully Mr. Fletcher has taken some time off work and is able to watch this show. I see nothing on this coin, actually. It's definitely not a good thing, but seeing nothing means I'm also not seeing damage, which that would be a bad thing. Okay. Well, I do see a little bit of damage on this side of this one. And this one's for Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher now. Coin number 25 goes to Malcolm. Coin number 25 will have us halfway through the roll. And this one's for Malcolm, if I can ever figure out where the coin is. There we go. There's your buy error. This is one of the buy coins. Alright, I'll pop this one off. This goes to Malcolm. Then we'll do coin number 26. Coin number 26 is Sissy. Miss Atwell. Let's see what Miss Atwell gets. Same RPM as Mr. Dowdle got. Stonecutter. Nice looking RPM there. It isn't anything else, but it is a nice RPM. That's for Sissy. Finally, our roll produces, right? Number 27. And number 27 will go to Jim Fletcher again. And Jim gets him one of those RPMs. There's 3 in a row. Same RPM 3 times in a row. This is out of an original machine wrapped roll. Remember that. Big point of luck that we get 3 of the same die in a row. Here's one for Thomas. Thomas, let's see if we keep that trend going. And we don't. Got nothing on this particular coin. And moving on from Thomas, we've got coin number 29, which is Mike Birchman. Mike Birchman's coin. It is another one of the more minor RPMs, but it is an RPM. Well, this wants me to go back and look at all the buy coins now. It looks like it could probably be an RPM. But then when I look at it harder and I twist it around, it doesn't necessarily look like an RPM, so I'm going to go with probably not an RPM on these buy coins. But just being a buy coin is good enough, right? It's a nice little error. Something cute to have in your collection. Here's another one for Jim Fletcher. This one, it's got the filled 9. This is one of the ones that looks like it could be a minor RPM, but not really enough to detect easily. I don't think. No, this one doesn't have enough to detect easily if it is an RPM. So leave this one out flush for Eric to take a look at. And now for coin number 31. Surag. Surag gets coin number 31. I'm sorry, 31. Unfortunately, nothing special there. Now number 32. Bill Crescent again. Does not appear to be an RPM or a double die. Had to get myself a little drink of go juice. Sissy up next, coin number 33. Let's take a look at 33, see what we have. I knew I'd do that. I do it again and again. I keep sticking these under the dyno, and the dyno is not on. That's an interesting looking little coin. Doesn't really have any doubling. It's just kind of different how that wore. The way it wore, your surface is kind of uneven in and around the date. That isn't quite completely normal. Here we go, Robert Pintoff. Coin number 34. Let's see if you get anything on coin number 34 here. This is an RPM, and it's another one of the RPMs. It's the same one that Eric got earlier, I believe. It's got the little die break above the crosslet on the 4. And it's got the doubling to the east. Hey, Jess. Yeah, so this is a nice RPM. That one belongs to Robert. Good that he finally got a really nice RPM out of the bunch. Coin Hunter. Coin Hunter comes up next. Nice RPM for Coin Hunter. Later dice date, but I believe it is RPM number 1. I think it's RPM number 1, or I think maybe 3 or 4. There's a few of them that show up east like that. That's number 35. It's going to go in the RPM pile. Now coin number 36. Coin number 36 is... Let's see, it's got that same mark on it. It looks like a little start of a die crack or something right on the S. Got nothing else that I can see on here. Now coin number 37. Coin number 37, we go back to Eric for coin number 37. Take a look at what we have here. And it appears that coin number 37 is a normal coin. Now number 38. Adam Connor. Adam Connor, coin number 38. And minor RPM here. You can see it on the inside of the upper curve. Let me get it focused in for you. You can see it right here. There's a little line of shadow right there. Don't see anything else going on with this one, but it does appear to be an RPM, so I'm going to put it in the RPM pile. We will be going through every one of these coins again. This is just for the sake of showing them off during the broadcast, not spending too much time on trying to attribute them or figure out what they are. Just kind of going through, taking a quick look, and then we'll take a much better look when these come off the back end. If you see anything on these coins that you think should have been mentioned, you can let me know if we're still on the air, but once we're off the air, we'll probably find everything that you're talking about. It's just a matter of, I didn't say anything about it because I was trying to run through a broadcast and get the broadcast finished so that you guys could see what you're getting. That one was for Orig. It doesn't appear to be anything. We've got coin number 40 now. Coin number 40, late night. Late night with Bull. This is one of our coins that might be a little RPM. It has the buy on it. So that would be easy to respot. Just go through the roll and pull out all the ones with the buy. If it turns out to be an RPM. If not, we'll list them as a buy error. That way you'll be able to remember what it was. Here's an RPM here. This is another one of the East RPMs with the little die chip in the 4. This one's for Adam Chambers. That'll be nice. Let's stick that on the RPM pile. Now coin number 42. Coin number 42 belongs to Carl. Oh, there's one with a little die chip in the upper S. It's got a chip inside the 4, a chip in the upper 5. It's got cracks on the 1 and the 9. Don't see anything else. It's a interesting coin with a lot of chips and cracks, but it doesn't have any die variety characteristics such as doubling or a repunch mint mark. That's coin number 42 now. Now coin number 43. Coin number 43 goes back to Marshall. I see nothing there. So that's Marshall's coin number 43. Now coin number 44. Coin 44. Joe McBride. What do we got for Joe? Nice RPM. That's one of those ones that has the buy. The 4 is even weaker at this point than it had been before. That's all because of crud in the die. This also has the buy. So you have a weakly struck buy error. There's a little bit of grease playing around in the die. Actually, the reverse also has that same issue. So this could actually be an underweight coin. Check the weight on this one real quick. This one's for Joe McBride. No, it's actually overweight. 3.158, almost 3.16 grams. How about that? Well, that's Joe McBride's coin number 44. Now number 45 goes to Malcolm. Let's see what Malcolm gets. Well, this is another one of the ones I think I was calling an RPM. I do believe it is a minor RPM. Very minor upper serif RPM, I believe. Now number 46, Coin Hunter. Coin Hunter gets another one of these. This one shows the buy. So I think there might be a bit of a progression going on within this roll, because I don't think I remember seeing that die chip in the 5 being so strong on the others. So it looks like it might be a little bit later progression of that buy. Now number 47, Joe Cathy. Would like to remind everyone present. There we go. Then we have another one here. Remind everyone present that Jessica will be holding an auction here in about 25 minutes. It'll be on this channel. We'll be done and over by then. Jessica can take over and she'll be having her auction. A lot of neat stuff for you guys to take a look at and consider bidding on. $48 now. 48, Eric. 3 coins left in the roll. This is one of those 3 coins. Let's see if I change my display, if I get any better output out of it. Yeah, it's not really any worse. In fact, the picture is a lot better. There we go. How's that? Much better picture. Still running at 18 frame rate, which is pretty good, since 29 is completely flicker free. Yeah, this is nice. Of course, it needs to be focused back in here and there, just like on this particular little die chip there. We can really get in close on those things. There you go. Let me bring my gain up so you can see it. How about that? That's getting real close, isn't it? All right, that's coin number 48. 48, don't see anything really special on this. We're going to move on to coin number 49 now. Coin number 49, 49 goes to Yo Man, and his name's upside down. Let me turn his name around. There we go. And do we get anything special? We did. This is one of the RPMs that shows on the upper right part of the curve right over here. You can see the doubling right there. That's a hit on the mint mark. Extends all the way up to the date. But you can see it on the upper surf just a little bit, but you can definitely see it on the upper right curve. The other thing about this particular one is it shows that die chip inside the crosslet of the 4 of the date. But there you go, you can see that RPM a lot better now. This one goes to Yo Man. So Yo Man gets that nice RPM. Now for coin number 50, goes to Carl Ignatz, the last coin in the roll. This one was obverse out, and it has some spotting on it. It is an RPM. But it definitely has some spotting. It's got a huge head lesion. But that will be Carl's coin. Carl got the luck of the draw, the unlucky draw of getting the end coin for this particular roll. That's going to do it for us, folks. That's what I've got. Let's take a look. We have, a number of normal coins here. But then for the die varieties, I did not keep them all separated, so we're just going to do these as we go through them. And take a look. Coin number 50, 49, 41, 38, 35, 34, 27, 26, 23, 22, 21, 15, 14, 12, 5, and 1. And I did not hold out some of the things. I said maybe something. We'll find those, and there'll probably be more varieties in this as we keep going through. But here's Mr. Marshall, Mike, Robert, Yo Man, Mac, Eric, Stonecutter, Sissy, Jim, Robert, Coin Hunter, Adam Connor, Adam Chambers, Yo Man, and Carl. So that's who all these go to, and these are the die varieties for the roll. Like I said, there's a good chance that there could be more die varieties in the roll than what you see here, because I have not necessarily pulled all of them out. So I've got this all banded together. We've got 3 more reveals to do tomorrow. And I may go ahead and take care of this, what was I calling it? The singles pull for the proof coins. I may go ahead and take care of it tomorrow as well. I need to get it scheduled this evening. But I'm going to take off now. 20 minutes from now, Jessica will be on this channel running an auction. Copper Coins Midwest Edition auction runs on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Time. You guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. Not a weekend. Well, yeah, a weekend. If you don't talk to me before then, have a great weekend. Mr. Marshall, I definitely appreciate it. Coin Dragon, I appreciate you being here as well. I know you guys didn't say much during the show, but you're absolutely welcome to. And I will talk to you guys later. I appreciate it, folks. Have a great night.